Why does it matter that we as women own and control our own narrative and tell our stories?
If we're not going to tell our story, then other people tell the story and they get it wrong. And so it's important for women and for all people to stand up and tell their own experience.
100%. I feel like I've seen so many films that I've been really excited about. Like maybe it's about queer women, maybe it's about women who are Indian, maybe it's about an immigrant story, and I'll watch it and I don't connect. You know, there's something about it where I'm like, this doesn't feel authentic to my experience. And then I'll dig deeper and there's very little representation on the back end of the film of the people who the story is about. And so I think we have to be responsible in telling our own stories so that we are inspiring folks to feel seen. We're inspiring folks to say, you matter. We're inspiring folks to say, this is what it looks and feels like to walk this life.
Yeah.
And not only from like a kind of diversity standpoint, but good stories can inspire anybody. With your story, Dame, how were you thinking about storytelling? How were you thinking, why was it that you wanted to tell this story?
Because nobody had told it, and it was my story. So it's a story about Elizabeth Taylor, and when she was shooting Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, her husband was killed in a plane crash, and she was given a couple weeks off and then had to return to set and finish the film, which is a story about death and the loss of love and everything that she was actually living at that time. And she had to return to work because she had to pay off Mike, her husband's tax debt, and was supporting 3 children, her 2 parents, and was deeply concerned about all of the crew and cast members that were going to lose their job if she didn't come back. So I found so much inspiration and hope in this story, and it was a story to me about a woman who had survived something that was devastating. And I've been through a devastating loss in my life, and I think many people, especially after this year, can relate to that. And I wanted to tell this story because every role that I was reading for women got it wrong. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to write my own, and in the process to help tell Elizabeth's story, which is all of our story, which I think a lot of people might not identify with someone like Elizabeth Taylor. They would say, like, this person is very far away from me. And the fact of the matter is she's not. She was a human being and a woman and a mother, and she went through something deeply painful and came out stronger.
Let's pivot to the part that I know that people definitely want to talk about, which is the wonderful up-close shots of your breasts throughout the film. They look amazing.
Thank you.
That was certainly a choice. And I loved that choice. So for you, when the viewer is watching, what do you want us to take away from that choice?
The truth. Elizabeth Taylor had large breasts.
Love that answer. That's awesome.
It's that simple, yeah. I told you this, the first question that my mom received when friends saw the film, she received phone calls asking whether or not I had had breast augmentation for the role. And no, I didn't. And I thought it was funny when someone asked her that, and then it happened again, and then it happened again and again, and then it became kind of the first question that people started asking, which I thought then was very sad. It was sad to me. And also just a snapshot of where we're at.
Emotions are not shown often enough. Vulnerability and ugly vulnerability. Yeah. She's falling. The pearls are a mess. It's this raw, honest moment of this person who we think is like this sex icon.
Yeah. And she is.
Right.
I mean, it was really difficult actually to shoot that scene, and I was personally afraid to show people the film because I personally had to go somewhere that I didn't want to go to shoot that scene. Wow. And I felt then that when everyone saw the film that I was naked now in a way that, you know, showing cleavage would never be.
Wow, let's take a moment to think about what you just said. That's huge. That the vulnerability of the emotions is so much more radical than the vulnerability of a naked breast, because we're so numb to seeing the female body over sexualized that doesn't even register to us. But we have not yet shown the rawness of human emotion. And that's the thing that would heal so many of us, because all of us are dealing with it privately and no one's confronting it publicly.
Yeah. And I think especially like when women are telling stories, we're now tasked with this job of being powerful women, telling stories about strong women. And that has its challenges too. And, you know, Elizabeth was a very complex woman. She was a woman who was in an incredible amount of pain, physical and emotional pain. And to me, her strength was moving through that and having, you know, hope for a better day, like getting back up again and again and again. I love that. And yeah, I wanted men, women, everyone to feel so close to Elizabeth and to go through that journey with her. And I think that's my favorite thing that people tell me about the film, is that they saw themselves. And I think it's because we got to a level of truth that unfortunately we don't have a lot in society. With social media, with all of these things, it's, you know, it's not considered strong to be weak in our emotion.